The official 2025 Utah housing forecast was just held in Salt Lake City. One of the nation's most respected housing market forecasters was here to share his data and predictions for the Utah real estate market in 2025. So, will home prices continue to increase or will home values fall? And what will happen to mortgage rates in 2025? These questions and more will be answered in this video. You will not find a more accurate breakdown for the Utah housing market anywhere else. Dr. Lawrence Yun of the National Association of Realtors started by saying that Utah is a very fast-growing area. But even with this population boom, home sales in Utah the last 2 years has slowed. He said,
the latest sales information in January was a little lower than anticipated. So mortgage rate refusing to behave at close to 7%.
Unfortunately, mortgage rates are still high despite Federal Reserve interest rate drops. A key reason for the shortage of existing homes for sale is that current homeowners have super low mortgage interest rates, many below 3%. It's understandable because who would want to trade their 2 or 3% rate for a 7% rate? Yun believes that if more existing homes were available, more people would buy despite mortgage rates. Now, home builders make up about 10% of all sales. But
if you look at the builders' activity, the past 2 years has been good. They actually had an increase in sales activity, believe it or not.
Even though the sales of existing homes has slowed, builders are selling more. Why? Because builders can create their own inventory. Some areas of the country are even seeing an oversupply of new homes. Despite the increased cost of construction, builders are still making decent profits.
Builders are back to their pre-COVID activity. So even at higher interest rate, somehow the builders are able to make that sale.
So why have home prices done since 2020?
This shows home price appreciation. Darker colored states are good. Lighter colors are very respectable. Every place across the country has seen huge price gain, 59% price appreciation from pre-COVID to the latest.
In the US, we have record high real estate wealth.
We are reaching $40 trillion in housing wealth gain for property owners across the country.
This massive amount of wealth is life-changing for those who have purchased real estate. If you're currently paying rent or you're wondering if you should purchase a home, you want to pay particular attention to this next chart. Those tiny red lines that you can barely see is the typical wealth of a renter. The 3 towering blue bars represent the typical wealth of a homeowner. The wealth gap between renters and homeowners is mind-blowing. Yoon said,
you have to own piece of America to be in the blue, part of the wealth accumulating class.
It's important to note that many of these homeowners purchased a house when mortgage rates were 10% and even higher. I'm not saying real estate is the only way to earn a fortune, but it is how a majority of Americans have built wealth. Now, I know that many of you need rates to come down so you can purchase a house. But for those of you who can purchase a property right now, there are loads of reasons why you might want to buy a house sooner than later. When you're done watching this video, watch why buying a home right now could be your best option. I'll put a link below. Moving on, data shows an alarming new trend. This shows month-to-month home closings. In the red box to the right, you can see that for the first time in 3 years, home closings are increasing 4 months in a row now. Naturally, home values will follow the same trend. So why has the trend changed? Well, it's not lower mortgage rates because they've actually gone up. Let's look at what's happening with housing inventory. The red arrow points to the housing crisis back in 2008. You can see that inventory spiked and has been falling since that time. Now looking at the red box, for the first time in 15 years, we're seeing an increase in housing inventory nationwide. But what's happening here in Utah?
Inventory is rising, sales are rising, prices are rising. So more inventory, more sales activity.
Historically, when trying to predict the housing market, you'd consider 2 main factors, jobs and mortgage rates. But Lawrence Yun said we have a new important factor in this real estate cycle, inventory. If we had more available homes, more houses would have been sold. And he believes that we will see more existing homes listed for sale in 2025. Why? Because a lot of people have been trapped in their current home for 5 years and some much longer than that. Many are making more money and they'd like to upgrade. Others have been trapped in an apartment or even worse, mom's basement. And a lot of families have outgrown their current living space, especially here in Utah. It's like a beach ball being pushed underwater. The deeper we go, the more pressure builds. It's only a matter of time before that ball shoots up. And Utah's strong economy is adding some serious fuel to that fire. Data shows the following.
Well, let's look at the jobs. Green colored states are superstars, and you see that you are a superstar here. This is how many job addition from pre-COVID to the latest. And green colors are all doing 10% or better in terms of job addition. But Utah clearly in the positive condition, and if you look at the timeline, from year 2000 to today, 300,000 job addition in the Salt Lake City metro area.
This many people moving to Utah for work will naturally lead to more demand for housing. But unbelievably, all this recent job growth did not equate to higher home sales. But the pent-up demand for housing is mostly due to these crazy high mortgage interest rates. The blue line shows that the Federal Reserve cut interest rates 3 times at the end of 2024. But mortgage rates have been naughty. The orange line shows that they went up, nearly hitting 7% in January. This confused a lot of people, but the Federal Reserve does not control mortgage rates. But there is some good news though. Dr. Young predicted mortgage rates will
descend towards 6.5%, maybe by spring, and maybe even 6% towards the end of the year, or definitely by next year.
What about Donald Trump? He's been busy dealing with some serious issues, but making housing affordable is high on his priority list. Dr. Young reminded us that in Trump's first term, mortgage rates were 4 to 5%.
Are we going to get to 4%, 5% mortgage rate? And answer is absolutely not. And here's why. National debt, as we know, is record high. The first blue arrow is when President Trump entered the office in 2017. The second blue arrow is what President Trump is facing today. So if we can contain national debt some way, then perhaps mortgage rate possibly could go under 6%. President Trump is a real estate person. He understands affordability. He understands the importance of low interest rates. But right now, national debt is super high, and that's why mortgage rate cannot go to 4%, 5%.
In this last segment, Yoon shares the nationwide forecast and compares it to Utah, which is expected to do better than most other states. Listen closely as he explains what is needed for the housing market to turn around.
More jobs, you are getting that. More inventory, you are getting that. Mortgage rate probably going to decline somewhat. All 3 factors positively influencing. So I have home sales rising 9% in 2025, 13% in 2026 nationwide. Utah will outperform because your job growth is much better. I would not be surprised if home sales rise 20% this year.
Did you catch that? If home sales in Utah increase by 20%, home values undoubtedly will go higher. And this is why I've been saying it's better to buy while mortgage rates are high. It's better to purchase a home at a lower price, and then when rates drop, refinance to a lower rate. But did you know that you can get a rate in the 5% range right now? No joke, I'm helping my clients get rates even down in the 4s sometimes. If you're ready to buy a home in Utah, and you can see why waiting might be a huge mistake, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to make your dream of homeownership a reality today. I'm a new home construction specialist, successfully guiding over 700 individuals through the home build process. And right now, you can get a brand spanking new house for the same price as a used one. And in many cases, the builder will pay your closing costs and or for a rate buy down. I also know the best builders as well as the ones that you want to avoid. If you're serious about buying a house in 2025, give me a call for a no pressure consultation. I'd love to meet with you and share how I can help you achieve your goal of home ownership. Based on the policies that Donald Trump is putting into place and the speed at which Elon Musk is cutting waste, among other things, we will beat inflation much quicker than expected. If this happens, mortgage rates will come down faster than predicted and buyers will flood the market. If you'd like to take a deeper look, you'll want to watch Will Trump Make Homes More Affordable? Look for the link to that video in the description below. If you're ready to buy, sell, or build a home in Utah, I get contacted all the time. Please feel free to call or text me with your questions. I'd love to hear from you. If you have a friend or a family member looking to buy a home, you can easily text this video to them. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Remember, you can find me on Instagram at Ty the Real Estate Guy. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.